It's good to have you there. This is the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN Television. You are on to the news on the hour. I am Folusho Taiwo. You're welcome. Christ has been described as the chief shepherd, great and mighty, who cares for, provide and protect his sheep, who other shepherds should look unto because is the author and finisher of their faith. This was the assertion of the Bishop of the Diocese of Amici, the Right Reverend Ephraim Ekako, as he calls on all clergymen and all those in authority to endeavor to lead those they are leading in ways of Christ. According to the cleric, it is the duty of the shepherd to lead the sheep to green pasture of sound biblical doctrines that will guide the sheep from straying from the teachings of Christ, and also to lead them to believing that Christ will never fail.
Pastors in the church, a priest is an under-shepherd. Christ himself is the chief shepherd and the great shepherd. So in the church, whatever the priest should do to take care of the flock that the church members should be anchored on the provisions of God's own pattern of shepherding. He should care for them. He should guide them through the right way of knowing God and living for God. He should make sure that he provides right spiritual menu for them, especially in this era where so many teachings, false teachings are everywhere. It is the duty of the priest as a shepherd to provide green pasture of sound biblical teaching that will guide our people from straying. It is also the duty of the pastor in the church to protect his members and the flock from ravaging wolves that are everywhere now. It is also his duty to encourage our members when they are weak, when they are troubled, especially in the present economic situation, the political unstable nature, and the terrorist attack here and there. Many of our members are involved and are victims. So the pastor should also do the work of encouragement. And above all, the pastor should make sure that he guides them to know that God cannot fail. In all circumstances, God is faithful. And when the pastor does this, he's emulating what Jesus, our sheep and great shepherd, is doing as the shepherd of his church.
Speaking on how a shepherd should deal with disobedience in the church, he urged them to discipline with love in order to bring the sheep back to track, stressing that the aim of every genuine discipline is for correction, restoration, and refocusing.
The staff is a symbol of authority for making sure that you stand and speak authoritatively. I didn't say autocratically, I said authoritatively. Then the rod is for correction and discipline. So in the case of disobedience, you don't kill your sheep because it misbehaved. You have to apply the lovely discipline to bring back the sheep back to the fold. But the aim of every genuine discipline is for correction, restoration, and refocusing. So we are dealing with human beings. Disobedience abounds everywhere. But the pastor should develop the heart of a shepherd. Anything you do, don't do it with punitive intention, to punish, to frustrate, and to make them feel unsafe. You do it to correct, to refocus, to restore them so that we move forward. Even though it's not easy, but the pastor has been called onto this duty, and he has to do it with patience, with love, and with total tolerance. And when we combine these things, we will get wonderful sheep and followership.
A shepherd has been described as one who has discovered his calling to lead the Church of Christ aright. It should be someone who is ready to lead in the pattern of Christ. It should also be someone who cares and has made Christ his focus. This was the assertion of the Bishop of the Diocese of Ijesha Northeast, the Right Reverend Joseph Olushola, as he urged shepherds in the church to imitate Christ, who is the chief shepherd.
The shepherd really is one who leads. And of course, a shepherd is one who has discovered really his calling, especially in the church, to lead the Church of Christ aright. And we do know that when you talk about the normal nomadic Fulani man today, it's either he goes ahead of the flock, or probably in between, or some even following. But most of the time, they go ahead to really make sure that they show the path. And that's what really the leadership of the church should do. Number one, by living a life, an exemplary life. To the flock he leads. And much more than that, a shepherd should be the one really who cares. The one really who makes sure that Christ is his focus. Like he said in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2, looking unto Jesus. Because the shepherd, the sheep want to follow the shepherd from time to time. And that's why the shepherd now in the church must follow Jesus Christ, who is our chief shepherd.
Bishop Olushola called on the nation and the world at large to embrace Christ, stressing that he is the answer to every problem.
Also, as a nation, we need him as our shepherd. In the church, we need Christ as our shepherd. As the world entirely today, we need Christ as our shepherd. And my prayer is that Christ himself will continue to be the shepherd of our souls. He will continue to guide us aright in the power of his Holy Spirit. In the name of Jesus.
The Anglican Archbishop of the Ecclesiastical Province of Enugu and Bishop of Enugu Diocese, Emmanuel Chikuma, has expressed dissatisfaction with the turnout of voters at the governorship and state assembly election in the state. Bishop Chikuma, who was a domestic election observer, said this while fielding questions from newsmen in Enugu. He said the turnout of voters during the presidential and National Assembly elections was far more impressive. The cleric said the reason for the voter apathy was not clear, as those who came out to vote were enthusiastic. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared Governor Udom Emmanuel of the People's Democratic Party PDP winner of Saturday's governorship election in Akwa Ibom. The returning officer, Professor Faraday Orwenze, Vice Chancellor, University of Benin, who announced the result in Uyo on Monday, said that Governor Emmanuel won in all the 31 local government areas of the state. Ruenze said Emmanuel was re-elected governor, having polled 519,712 votes. His main challenger, Mr. Nzima Ekere of the All Progressive Congress APC, polled 171,978 votes. He noted that the election was keenly contested, saying that 50 political parties contested for the governorship election in the state. Meanwhile, a pressure group, Akwa Ibom Liberation Movement, had hailed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and Department of State Service, DSS, for their professionalism during the governorship election in the state. Addressing journalists in Uyo, the state capital, leader of the group, Prince Emmanuel Sam, noted that the resident electoral commissioner, Mike Igini, despite all intimidation from opposition, ensured that the results announced represented the will of Akwa Ibom people. While congratulating Governor Emmanuel Udom over his overwhelming victory at the poll, some urged him to reciprocate the gesture with more life-touching projects Describing Udom's victory as one fraught with many challenges, he condoled with families of those who may have lost their lives in the process. Emmanuel was re-elected governor, having polled 519,712 votes. His main challenger, Nsima Ekere of the All Progressive Congress APC, polled 171,978 votes. The Lagos State governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Jimmy Agbaje, has conceded defeat to Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who won the March 9 governorship election. According to the results announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, ACNN, Sanwo-Olu, a former commissioner, won 739,445 votes, while Agbaje finished the race with 206,141 votes. During his acceptance speech shortly after the announcement of his victory, Sanwo-Olu revealed that his opponent had called him to concede defeat and to admit that the process was free and fair. The governor-elect lamented about the divisive rhetorics, the strategies that were employed during the campaign period, and urged everyone to work together now that the election is over. He said his administration will continue to push an already great Lagos to greater heights with the help of all relevant stakeholders.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has announced the final result of the governorship election for Lagos State. This means that indeed you, the people, had spoken, and clearly too. By these words, I accept the mandate you have given me and understand that it bestows a most profound honor and a sober responsibility on me. I am humbled that the people elected me as the governor to lead them for the next 4 years. I vow to you, dear Lagosians, that my eye and my mind are too focused on the future, too fixed to where we must go, that I will not give a second thought to where we're coming from. Our administration shall advance and build on the tradition of construction, the modern infrastructure needed to improve living conditions and encourage greater business and investment by lowering the costs and increasing productivity. Secondly, we'll try to enhance a social service to make sure that basic needs of the modest and the poor are met, and that Lagosians shall not be deprived of any human care or human dignity. 3, we will develop specific and concrete plans to establish the types of businesses and investment in Lagos that will provide sustainable growth and job opportunities for the 21st century economy that we see in Lagos. We must provide jobs and economic opportunity for the vast industries and the population. By doing so, we shall function as a catalyst for growth, not only in Nigeria, not only in West Africa, but in the entire African continent. And I want to say that exactly at about 7:05 today, the main competitor on this race, Mr. Jimmy Agbaje, also put a call through to me to thank me and to wish me all the best and to concede that this election has been free and fair, and he wishes me all of the best wishes. On this note, I want to thank all of us. I want to thank you, the men of the press. I want to thank our party members. I want to thank the entire Lagosians for making...
Sanwo-Olu coasted to victory in all of the state's 20 local government areas in Lagos Island, Lagos Mainland, Epe, Ikeja, Ikorodu, Amuwo-Odofin, Ibeju-Lekki, Agege, Apapa, Shomolu, Eti-Osa, Oshodi, Isolo, Mushin, Kosofe, Surulere, Badagry, Ojo, Alimosho, Ifako, Ijaye, and Ajeromi Ifeludun. The former commissioner will now replace incumbent Governor Akinwumi Ambode when he's sworn in on May 29. President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with families of two Nigerians, Ambassador Abiodun Bashwa and Professor Pius Adesomi, who lost their lives in the Ethiopian Airlines plane that crashed on Sunday. Ambassador Abiodun Bashwa and Professor Pius Adesomi were among the 149 passengers and 8 crew members that died in the plane crash in Addis Ababa. Malam Garba Shehu, the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, in a 2-paragraph statement in Abuja said, Buhari also condoled with friends of the distinguished Nigerians and the other passengers and crew who lost their lives in the plane disaster. The management of the Ethiopian airline had earlier confirmed that 2 Nigerians were among the 157 passengers and 8 crew members that died in the Ethiopian airline 320 that crashed on Sunday. The aircraft was en route from Addis Ababa to Nairobi with 149 passengers and 8 crew members on board. An official of the airline who preferred anonymity said that Ambassador Abiodun Bashwa and Professor Pius Adesomi were 2 Nigerians that have their identity confirmed in the crash. We shall now go on a short commercial break. We shall be back. Please stay with us.
Getting the best hospitality and affordable luxury is what we guarantee at our guest houses right in the heart of Abuja. Decent guest houses that offer surpassing services such as 24-hour room service, constant power supply, decent non-smoking environment, parking lot, laundry service, multi-purpose hall, mini-mart, restaurant services, spacious room at affordable rate. For reservation, book online at www.anglicanguesthousesabuja.com or locate us at All Saints Guest House, 29 Tamale Street, Wuse Zone 3, Abuja. Telephone 0806-699-5823 or 0805-285-5092 or Church Guest House, 24 Douala Street, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Telephone 0816-860-7024 or 0805-677-3815.
Jesus, keep me near the cross.
Diocese of Abuja of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion invites you to the 2019 Way of the Cross program. Theme, A New Beginning. Date, Monday 11th March to Sunday 17th March 2019. A week of transformation, exposition and ministration at the Cathedral Church of the Advent, Life Camp Gwarimpa, Abuja. Time, 5 p.m. daily. Ministering, the Most Reverend George Lashediko, the Right Reverend Timothy Yaya, the Right Reverend David Onoha, the Right Reverend Paul Udogu, the Right Reverend Dr. Titus Olayinka, the Right Reverend Henry Okeke, Mike Adebile. There will be counseling and prayers by gifted servants of God on daily basis. Host, the Most Reverend Dr. Nicholas D. Oku, Archbishop Metropolitan and Primate of all Nigeria, Anglican Communion. Come, experience victory through the cross.
You are welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or youtube.com/ACNNTV. To be up to date with our news and other programs, please download the ACNN app for Android from Google Play Store. And now to some foreign news. The Archbishop of Polynesia and co-primate of the Anglican Church of Aotearoa, New Zealand and Polynesia, has been consecrated at Holy Trinity Cathedral in Suva, Fiji. The Most Reverend Feremi Kama will be the 7th Archbishop of the Polynesia and first Fijian, following 4 Europeans, a Tongan and Samoan. The Most Reverend Feremi Kama, who is 63, was the vicar of St. Peter's, Lautoka, and a former long-serving dean of Suva's Holy Trinity Cathedral. He was nominated to succeed Archbishop Winston Halapua at an electoral college held in Lamy Bay, Suva, in late October. The president of Fiji, Major General George Koronte, joined bishops from New Zealand and Australia at the packed cathedral for the 10th March 2019 ceremony. The Bishop of Nzara, Samuel Penny, has been elected Bishop of Yambio and Archbishop of the Church of South Sudan's internal province of Western Equatoria. He is to succeed Archbishop Peter Monde Jacob, who was also the provincial dean, after a short illness. After the results of the electoral college were announced, the other candidate, Bishop Wilson Kamani from the Diocese of Iba, congratulated the Archbishop-elect, and the 2 bishops hugged. The electoral college took place in All Saints Cathedral in Yambio. India has announced the dates for a national election that will see close to 900 million voters cast their ballots in nearly 1 million polling booths, the world's biggest ever democratic exercise. In a press conference in the capital, New Delhi, the country's Chief Election Commissioner, Sunil Arora, unveiled the timeline for India's mammoth 7-phase election to be held on April 11th, 18th, 23rd, 29th, and May 6th, 12th, and 19th. The counting of votes will be held on May 23rd. Elections will also be held simultaneously to 4 state assemblies: Andhra Pradesh, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, and Odisha, along with the parliamentary polls. Jammu and Kashmir will not be going to polls in this exercise, although the state had been under central rule since the coalition government. State government collapsed in June 2018. Admired for its ability to conduct the polls with few hitches, India's election commission had come under pressure from opposition parties for the use of electronic voting machines. To allay fears of poll fraud, Arora said the voter verifiable paper audit trail system will be used in all the polling booths during the election. And now to sports. Manchester United caretaker Bros Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has refused to blame David De Gea for Arsenal's opener during the 2-0 defeat at the Emirates. Solskjaer, speaking after the game, rejected suggestions from Gary Neville that the Spaniard's form is suffering because of uncertainty over his future. De Gea, who is approaching the final year of his deal at Old Trafford, was wrong-footed by Grant Ahakan's speculative 25-yard strike. After 12 minutes to set United on their way to a fourth Premier League defeat under Solskjaer, Neville suggested noise in his ear surrounding the contract standoff might be affecting the 28-year-old, but Solskjaer insisted goalkeeper is focused.
David's really focused and concentrated. He's too professional to let his mind wander, and that's you know, the best players, they know how to focus, and he's been absolutely fantastic.
And so that's it on this edition of the News on the Hour. I want to thank you, and thank you profusely for watching. I am Fulusho Taiwo. Please mend it. Don't end it in a hurry. God bless you.